Hey everybody, this is Ken the Metal Professor. Welcome to literally Metal Professor's Basement. I am the host of the radio show Mostly Metal on WVLP in Valparaiso, Indiana, airing Wednesday nights at 10 and Sunday nights at 8 Central Time USA. And I've done several of these videos where I've listed top 10 favorite CDs of a band or rankings of the releases of a band. And normally what's been happening is that I started playing these top 10 lists on air a couple of months ago, and I was playing catch up with the videos, and so I do them on the air, and then I would end up doing a video corresponding to that, and I finally got it synchronized, right? So I'm going to tell you my top 10 favorite songs by Angra, and since Angra has 10 CDs or less, I'm also going to put the ranking of those CDs into this same video. And if you're interested in listening to that top 10 list by Angra, I invite you to listen to my show. If you see this video in time, obviously, it will air Wednesday, April 15th and Sunday, April 19th. And again, Wednesday at 10 p.m. U.S. Central Time, Sunday night at 8. You can go to WVLP.org and click the Listen Now link. You can also use the TuneIn radio app. If you happen to be in Valparaiso, Indiana, you can get it on air. But we don't have a very large broadcast radius, so other than being in Valpo itself, you got to stream it. All right, so let's talk about Angra and my favorite songs of theirs. This is a band that has such an amount of great stuff that I imagine people's top 10 lists are going to be wildly different, depending on whether you prefer the older, a little bit more proggy stuff, or the latter day, still complicated music, but leaning more towards melodic power metal with progressive fiddlings, I would say. I tend to prefer the latter, and I think you'll see that reflected here. So coming in at number 10, Travelers of Time off of Omni. Omni was released in 2018. Their most recent disc, hopefully we'll get a new one later this year or next year. Travelers in Time is a crackling good tune. It's my favorite one on the album. It's fast, powerful. Fabio Leone, the vocalist on this album and the one before it, sounds great. Wishing Well off of Temple of Shadows is my number 9. Wishing Well is sort of at the opposite end of the spectrum. It's mellower. It's not a ballad. I don't think I would call it a ballad, but it's got acoustic guitars. It's got some crunchy electric in the background, but it's a slower tune, more sedate, but great harmonies, great chorus. I love it to death. Number 8, Nothing to Say off of Holy Land. You're going to notice several opening tracks here in this list. This is off of Holy Land, the opening main track off of that album. It's just, the thundering drums and bass riff that lead into this song just get the album started perfectly. At number 7, I'll put Angels and Demons. That's also off of Temple of Shadows. This is a very powerful tune. It's the counterpart to Wishing Well. But yeah, good, heavy power metal. Edu Falashi sounds great. Just blood-pumpingly good song. Perfect Symmetry off of Secret Garden is my number 6. Secret Garden is the first album that Fabio Leone took over vocals on, and this is towards the back end of that album, so you have to wait a while to get to it, but it's my favorite one on that album. Heavy, fast, good choruses. Number 6 is Speed from Fireworks, the last album that Andre Matos was the vocalist on, and this is the closing track off of that album. I think I like it mostly because of the blazingly fast guitar work that shows up at the end of the song. The song starts, it gets a little bit faster, and you think that's going to be it, but no, there's a third gear at the end of the song that's just amazing to listen to. Number 4 is Carry On off of Angel's Cry. Here we go with another opening track off of their opening full-length CD. Carry On and the rest of that album just let you know what Angra was going to be all about, and they haven't stopped since. Number 3, The Voice Commanding You off of Aurora Consurgence. All in all, not their strongest CD, but boy, is that a powerful tune. It's heavy, it's fast. Edu is on his game there. It's good weightlifting music if you like that kind of thing. The Shaman, number 2. off of Holy Land. I love the more ethnic lead in with the rhythm that starts the song off. And you can tell the Brazilian influences in that song, and that occur in several places on that album, Holy Land. It's wonderful to listen to. I have a warm spot in my heart for the Shaman, because when I first started doing community radio, this is back in like 1995 at WFHB in Bloomington, Indiana, while I was in graduate school at IU. I got involved with, I helped pick up and carry on the legacy of an overnight metal show called The Void that was on Mondays from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Whew, I couldn't do that now, but back then I was young and I could handle it. It was kind of fun, actually. But The Shaman was the very first song I ever played on my very first broadcast. So it's always been with me. My favorite track by Angra is Millennium Sun off of Rebirth. This song has everything that I love about music in it. It starts out mellow and it's gorgeous, and then it kicks in with a thundering beat, and it gains speed and it gains speed, and then just blasts you in the face for the rest of the tune with great choruses. So it makes me very, very happy. So that's my top 10 songs by Angra. Let me reach forward and wiggle my pad so that my video doesn't crap out on me, and then I will come back with my ranking of the 9 full-length Angra CDs. Okay, so I've wiggled my mouse pad so that my screen doesn't blank out on me. I've had a sip or two of my Starbucks iced coffee. Now, don't get mad at me. I did not go and have social contact with a poor drive-thru employee. I really, really miss my Starbucks iced coffee. I'm having a rough time without it. So I finally broke down, and last time I went to the grocery store to get food for the family, I was going through the refrigerator section, and there they had the half-gallon jug of pre-made Starbucks iced coffee. And it was like $5 for the jug, but I figure, geez, I can stretch it out to 3 or 4 of these if I water it down just a little bit, throw in some ice and some cream. So it's still cheaper than buying the actual iced coffees from Starbucks. And with a little bit of ice and water and a little bit of cream, it's not as good as the freshly brewed stuff at the Bucks, but it'll do in a pinch. So it's getting me it's getting me through the day, and I really need it today because this is the second time I've done this video. I did it once already. I went to the other half of the basement. I thought maybe having comics behind me again would be kind of dull, so I went to the other half of the basement where I would have science fiction and fantasy books behind me. But it was noisier out there. The dogs came to visit. The furnace came on. The washing machine went into the rent cycle, so the gurgling of the water coming down the pipes got heard. And then when it was all said and done, I clicked pause. The video started compiling in Camtasia, and it turns out that my microphone wasn't on. So here I am again. All right, wasted enough time. My ranking of Angra CDs in order of the one I'm least likely to grab to the one that I am most likely to grab when it's time to listen to Angra. There's only 9 of them. So coming in at number 9 is Aqua from 2010. This is the last album that Edu Falashi was on. It's obviously my least favorite of theirs. This was the tail end of the Edu Falashi era. I don't know if they were running out of steam, but I didn't think he sounded great. The production didn't sound the best, and the songs weren't as catchy as they are on other tunes. So, you can still tell it's Angra, but it's not the one I'm going to pull out. I like The Rage of the Waters and A Rising Thunder, but those are really the only 2 standout tracks for me on that album. Number 8, Secret Garden from 2014. This is their second most recent. It's the first one that Fabio Leone was singing on, and it's okay. They rejuvenated themselves a little bit. Fabio Leone's distinct voice is it's a bridge to get to from Edu Falashi from one to the other. They're both excellent vocalists, but they each have their own unique style. And Fabio's is that Italian operatic power metal sound. And I've heard him in Rhapsody and Vision Divine and things like that. Wait, was he in Vision Divine? Don't remember now. Another one of those Italian guys was Lupi. Okay, I'm getting derailed here. But anyway, Secret Garden is great. It's okay. I like I like Storm of Emotions. The duet with Simone Simons on the title track is terrific. You can see me looking off to the side because I have Spotify opened up where I have sort of a best of list, and the songs are listed because there's no way I'm going to remember CD by CD what to go through. Silent Call, Black Hearted Soul, that's a good one. So there's a lot of strong songs on that. Only one of them, Perfect Symmetry, made it to my top 10 list. The other songs are, they're very good. I don't know that many of them are great, at least for me. Aurora Consurgens will be my number 7. This is from 2006. This is when they were, kind of coming to the tail end of the Edu Falashi era, and it wasn't as good as the previous albums. But there are still some standout songs, particularly The Voice Commanding You, which was number 3 in my top 10. The Course of Nature, Breaking Ties, Salvation Suicide is a good one. Window to Nowhere. So, still some nice tunes here or there on the album, but to me, not as strong from beginning to end. Omni from 2018 is my number 6. That's their most recent album. Fabio Leone on vocals again. Now, this is at the point where Kiko Loureiro is no longer in the band. He went off to, I won't say bigger and better things, but certainly different things, playing with Megadeth. That's certainly a feather in his cap. He also has several really, really good solo albums, too. But I like Omni better than Secret Garden. We'll see what their next CD brings. Maybe it'll be better than both of those. Fireworks from 1998, the last of the Andre Matos albums. That's my number 5. Speed is my favorite track off of there. I also love Mystery Machine. They probably wrote it about Scooby-Doo, but if they didn't, they certainly nailed Scooby-Doo anyway, and I always picture Scooby-Doo when I'm listening to it, so it makes me happy. Temple of Shadows, number 4 from 2004. Now, this line between Fireworks and Temple of Shadows is in my mind, this is where we have the group of good to very good albums leaping into the great albums. Temple of Shadows, to me, is a great album. It opens with 3 or 4 really powerful tunes, including Wishing Well, which, it can be powerful even though it's not that heavy all the way through, right? And it closes really strong. I mean, maybe in the middle it kind of goes down a little bit, but Waiting Silence, Wishing Well, No Pain for the Dead, Winds of Desolation is a great tune. Yeah, it's a good one. Angels Cry at number 3, their debut from 1993. It's a first album, so it was a little bit rough around the edges. And when I say that, it's just comparatively to some of the other stuff, which is just smooth as hell. But you know exactly what they were doing. It was more on the progressive power metal end of things than the power metal with progressive flourishes, which I think is what we can call them now, perhaps. But yeah, it's a classic of the genre. Now, to my top 2, this is where I'll get myself in trouble because most people are probably going to put Holy Land at number 1. I am going to put it at number 2. This is probably their most famous album. It's certainly one that any fan of the genre should have exposure to. Released in 1996, their second full-length CD. Starts off with Nothing to Say, and then you get The Shaman, and you get Make Believe, and Zito, and ZITO, and just, from beginning to end, it's spectacular stuff. I only like it a little bit less than Rebirth, which was my number 1 CD from 2001. Like I said, I am more of the melodic power kind of guy. That's always going to give me goosebumps every single time. This album, Rebirth, it starts strong. It is strong in the middle. It's strong at the end, even with the little piano ballad that it finishes with. It's got melody. It's got powerful vocals. It's got crunch. It makes you happy. It makes you feel things. If I was asked by somebody who wasn't experienced in power or progressive metal to give them a sample of something that makes me love this music so much, I would give them Rebirth. I mean, there are others I would give them, but Rebirth would be near the top of the list because it's just a spectacular work of music. And so I put it at my number 1. So recapping, Aqua, then Secret Garden, Aurora Consurgens, Omni, Fireworks, Temple of Shadows, Angels Cry, and then coming in at 2 and 1, Holy Land, and Rebirth. So again, if you get to this video in time and you want to hear my top 10 songs, go to WVLP.org either Wednesday, April 15th at 10 p.m. U.S. Central or Sunday at 8 p.m. U.S. Central. And you can listen. I mean, you can find these songs anyway, but what the heck. If you want all the work done for you, there it's going to be. So thanks for watching / listening. I hope you had fun thinking about Angra, and I hope this made you go out and listen to them.